Most people assume God chooses the most prepared person in the room, the one who speaks best, the one who knows the most, the one who looks the part. But when you actually observe how God works, that assumption begins to fall apart. Because again and again, God bypasses the obvious choice, not because he enjoys surprising people, but because his purposes require something deeper than talent or visibility. God chooses people differently. And once you understand who he chooses, you begin to understand how God works. 1. God chooses the overlooked. One of the most consistent patterns in God's actions is his attention to people others ignore. While people scan the room for the strongest candidate, God looks toward the one standing quietly in the background. The overlooked are often unnoticed, but they are not unprepared. Their seasons of obscurity shape patience, dependence, and trust, qualities that cannot be learned in the spotlight. God chooses the overlooked because their success cannot be credited to status. When they rise, everyone knows it was not human promotion. It was divine selection. 2. God chooses the unqualified. God often calls people who feel the least equipped, not because he made a mistake, but because qualification in God's hands does not begin with confidence. It begins with honesty. People who feel unqualified are more likely to rely on God instead of their own ability. They ask questions. They hesitate. They doubt. Yet those doubts do not disqualify them. God does not need someone who believes in themselves. He needs someone who trusts him. 3. God chooses the humble and teachable. Pride resists change. Humility invites growth. God chooses people who are willing to listen, learn, and be corrected. Not people who already believe they have arrived, but people who know they are still becoming. A teachable heart does not argue with instruction. It receives it. God cannot shape a heart that refuses to bend, but he can form something powerful out of a heart that yields. 4. God chooses the broken. Many people believe brokenness ends purpose, but brokenness in God's hands often becomes the very place purpose begins. Pain softens the heart. Failure produces humility. Loss creates dependence. God does not choose broken people because they are damaged. He chooses them because they understand grace. They know what it means to be restored. And because of that, they can carry compassion, patience, and wisdom. God does not waste pain. He repurposes it. 5. God chooses the faithful. God is not impressed by quick results. He values consistency. Faithful people keep going when no one is watching, when the reward is delayed, when the work feels small. Faithfulness proves trust, and trust is what God builds responsibility on. Those who remain steady in quiet seasons are often the ones entrusted with greater influence later. God does not choose people because they are impressive. He chooses people because they are positioned to be shaped. The overlooked, the uncertain, the humble, the broken, the faithful. If you recognize yourself in any of these, this is not a reason to feel excluded. It may be a sign that God is closer than you think, because throughout history, God has always used ordinary people to reveal extraordinary purpose. And if God could work through them, he has not changed. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to support the channel. Like the video, it helps this message reach more people. Share it with someone who needs encouragement today. Comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And subscribe so you don't miss future content like this. Thank you for watching. Stay encouraged and stay inspired.